Extrasensory perception is not a mystery. These words, like a spark falling on dry tinder, ignite the truth at the center of your being. Extrasensory perception, the invisible thread between your conscious mind and the great subconscious sea, is not some occult trick reserved for mystics and prophets. It is the living presence of God in your subconscious mind, whispering, guiding, protecting, shaping your destiny with a power so simple, so quiet, that most walk past it unnoticed. Yet you are walking in it now. You are breathing it now. You are not a stranger to the divine. You are its expression. Carl Jung called it the great unconscious. Joseph Murphy named it the presence of God within. Whatever the language, the essence remains. There is a field of intelligence in you that sees beyond the veil of time and space. It is your silent companion in the dream, the subtle nudge before danger, the calm knowing when others tremble. It is not superstition. It is not accident. It is the most natural faculty you possess. But here is the paradox. Every power in this world can be used in two ways. The wind that carries a ship home can also wreck it on the rocks. The fire that warms can also burn. Likewise, the psychic sea you swim in can lift you into safety, guidance, and abundance, or leave you vulnerable to the swirling beliefs, fears, and toxic currents of 4 billion minds. The law is simple. As you sow, you reap. Imagine standing at the edge of an endless ocean at night. Moonlight dances on its surface, but you know its true depths are hidden, teeming with unseen life. That ocean is your subconscious. Everything you think, everything you accept as true, sinks like a seed into its waters. And just as surely as a seed becomes a tree, your subconscious brings forth experiences, good or ill, from the pattern you plant. This is the meaning behind the parables of old. The Bible, Joseph Murphy reminds us, is not a literal record of cities and tribes, but a map of your own inner landscape. The two sons are not two boys, they are your conscious and subconscious mind. The husband and wife are not a man and a woman, they are the male and female principles of thought and feeling within you. The prophets, the exiles, the promised lands, all are stories of how you move through states of consciousness, into trouble and out of it again. So when the scripture says, "Except by parables spake he not unto them," it is telling you these truths live beside you, not in front of you. They are reflections. Parabola means that which lies alongside. Each story is a mirror held up to your soul, inviting you to recognize your own powers of creation and deliverance. And nowhere is this power more astonishing than in extrasensory perception, the sudden dream that saves a life, the intuition that turns you from disaster, the inner voice that says, "Not this road, wait." This is not fortune-telling. It is your subconscious mind, timeless and spaceless, reading currents before they break the surface. Murphy gives the example of the plane to the Madeira Islands, filled with passengers who would never land. 9 people he knew had been scheduled to board, but 3 women had vivid dreams of the tragedy beforehand. They did not brush it aside. They prayed, they listened, they canceled, they lived. This is not fate. This is not luck. This is the presence of God, alive and active in the subconscious, protecting those who claim guidance. Do not dismiss your inner signals as only a dream. A chandelier falls on a crib at 3 a.m., but only after the mother, warned by a dream, has moved her baby to her bed. 3 boys drown in a hidden pool, but not the 2 sons of the mother who heeded her own night vision and kept them home. Car crashes, wars, disasters foreseen and avoided. These are not rare gifts given to the few. They are the normal working of a mind attuned to the infinite. But you must cultivate this attunement. If you do not keep prayed up, as Murphy says, you become subject to the mass mind, to the psychic debris of billions. You drift on other people's currents instead of setting your own sail. Do you control your own life, or do others manipulate it? Do you choose your own images, or do you let society plant them for you? This is the difference between living as a sovereign soul and being kicked around like a football by the collective unconscious. It is simple, so simple it seems incredible. The infinite intelligence in your subconscious mind already knows the answer to every question, the solution to every problem, the way of safety through every storm. Call upon it, speak to it, ask for guidance, and before you even finish the prayer, the answer is there, waiting for your acceptance. Dr. J.B. Rhine at Duke University proved what mystics have always known: telepathy, clairvoyance, precognition. These are measurable realities. Sensitive subjects named hidden cards in sealed rooms described events happening thousands of miles away, saw futures unfold exactly as later recorded. Not tricks, not fraud, not fantasy. Science confirmed what the soul already intuited. Your consciousness is not confined to your brain. And yet, you do not need to be a psychic to live by this power. You are already psychic. You have already lifted the phone and known who was calling. You have already thought of someone moments before they appeared. You are already immersed in the psychic sea. The only question is whether you drift or direct. Extrasensory perception is not about escaping reality. It is about claiming your inner authority, neutralizing the toxic effluvia of the mass mind, and aligning your thoughts, words, and actions with the divine center. When you do, the subconscious ceases to be a chaotic echo chamber and becomes what it was always meant to be, your bridge to infinite intelligence. And this is the first great secret of Joseph Murphy's teaching. The future is already in your mind. It does not have to happen. It can be changed. It can be redirected. War can dissolve into peace. Tragedy can turn to safety. Loss can become gain if both sides begin to pray, if you begin to pray. The pattern in mind is not destiny until you accept it. Pause and feel this. Right now, the pattern of your next hour, your next day, your next year exists in seed form within your subconscious. What you sow there now will be the harvest you meet tomorrow. Do not be afraid of it. Claim it, shape it, plant peace, plant guidance, plant divine protection. And as you do, listen for the still small voice that has been with you since before birth. It does not shout, it whispers, it waits for your attention. It is the presence of God in your subconscious mind, and it is speaking now. If every dream, every whisper of intuition is a message from the infinite, what could your life look like if you learned to interpret and act on it? In the next section, we will journey deeper, beyond superstition, beyond fear, into the very heart of how to awaken your extrasensory powers and transform your destiny. Extrasensory perception is the living proof that the subconscious speaks in a language older than words. Not English, not Hebrew, not Sanskrit. It speaks in symbols, dreams, and inner impressions. The dream of a chandelier crashing. The dream of 3 boys drowned. The sudden knowing to cancel a trip. These are not random flickers of the mind. They are the alphabet of your soul. Joseph Murphy tells us, "The Lord will make himself known in a vision and will speak to man in a dream." Your Bible is filled with these moments from Genesis to Revelation. Joseph interpreting Pharaoh's dream of famine. Daniel receiving visions in the night. Prophets foretelling victory or calamity. These were not hallucinations. They were subconscious communications where the conscious mind, silenced by sleep, could no longer interfere. Think of your subconscious as a faithful friend who always wants your good, but whose voice is often drowned by the clamor of the senses. By day, The conscious mind is arrogant, noisy, restless, demanding proof. But when you sleep, when the five senses fall quiet, the infinite seizes its chance. It paints messages in symbols, visions, and parables, because this is the language the soul understands. Do not dismiss these messages. Do not say, it was only a dream. Nothing is only when it comes to the subconscious. Learn instead to pause, to reflect. What principle is being shown here? What guidance is being given? Murphy reminds us, if a symbol repeats, if a dream recurs, it is your subconscious crying out for attention. It is not seeking to frighten you, it is seeking to heal you. Always, the subconscious is a physician, correcting, guiding, preserving life. Consider this. A woman dreamed of her child's crib struck by a falling chandelier. She woke in terror, moved her child, and at 3 o'clock the chandelier fell. Another dreamed of her sons being led to a drowning place. She refused them permission, and the dream was fulfilled, but not for her sons. In each case, life was preserved by listening. This is extrasensory perception in its purest form, the bridge between infinite intelligence and the finite moment, the quiet stream of guidance that says, turn left, not right, wait, not yet, speak now, not later. And if you will only listen, if you will claim divine guidance, you will be led beside still waters and kept safe even in the valley of shadows. Yet here is the tragedy. Most ignore the guidance. They scoff. They call it superstition. They let the opinions of relatives or the noise of society drown out the whisper of God. They live manipulated, kicked around like a football by other people's thoughts until crisis forces them to their knees. But why wait for crisis? Why not learn now to own your mind, to claim your inner authority, to become sovereign of your destiny? Extrasensory perception is not about being psychic. It is about being awake. It is about learning to recognize the voice of infinite intelligence before the storm breaks, before the wrong step is taken, before the path narrows into danger. And here is how you begin: with practice, with prayer, with daily alignment. Every day you plant seeds in the subconscious. Every day you can choose which crop you will harvest. Will you sow fear or faith, confusion or clarity, death or life? Murphy puts it plainly: if you do not keep prayed up, you are open to the mass mind, to the toxic effluvia of billions. But when you speak, think, and act from the divine center, you neutralize that poison. You become immune to the world's hysteria. You live in calm certainty because your guidance comes not from newspapers, not from neighbors, but from the infinite within. And so I invite you now, not merely to listen, not merely to nod in agreement, but to act, to take this truth from theory into your bloodstream. For those who are ready, we have prepared a 21-day challenge to create your dream life. It is simple, it is powerful, and it is available in the video description and pinned comment below. For 21 days, you will train your mind to listen, to affirm, to sow seeds of peace, abundance, and guidance. You will step into the rhythm of daily practice, and you will discover for yourself how quickly the subconscious responds when consistently directed. Do not postpone this. Do not say someday. Life does not wait. The subconscious does not wait. Begin now. Begin today. And watch as the infinite begins to rearrange circumstances, people, and events in your favor. And then return with me, for this journey is only deepening. For even beyond dreams and warnings, beyond visions of safety and protection, there lies a greater truth. The subconscious not only shields you from danger, it opens the gates of creativity, of prophecy, a vision so vast that your life can be remade from the ground up. Science itself bears witness. Dr. Rhine at Duke University conducted decades of experiments proving telepathy, proving clairvoyance, proving precognition. Sensitive subjects naming hidden cards without error, describing battles unfolding thousands of miles away, seeing futures exactly as later recorded in newspapers. Not fraud, not fantasy. Truth tested under the eye of the Mathematical Society of America. Truth honored by knighthoods and academic praise. Truth acknowledged by the most rigorous scientific minds. But here is the question that matters most. What will you do with it? Will you marvel at it like a curiosity in a museum and then return to a life of drift? Or will you claim it, apply it, and live from the infinite within? Extrasensory perception is not a sideshow. It is the natural inheritance of every soul. It is your birthright. You already live in it, whether you acknowledge it or not. The only choice is whether you drift with the mass mind or whether you rise, awaken, and use it consciously for life, love, and guidance. And if you doubt, remember this: the future is already in your mind. Already the seeds are planted. Already the subconscious knows your next step. Already the infinite has whispered the way. It does not have to be a path of suffering. It does not have to be tragedy. But it will be unless you change the pattern in mind. Prayer changes that pattern. Affirmation changes that pattern. Daily practice, choosing your own inner images, claiming guidance, neutralizes the poison of the collective and plants seeds of peace. What if the dream you dismissed last night was the infinite trying to save you? And what if you could learn not just to recognize such dreams, but to deliberately shape them, to command the language of the subconscious, and to awaken powers beyond imagination? That is where we are going next. You are not merely a passive receiver of dreams. You are not a bystander to the tides of your subconscious. You are the captain of the inner sea. This is the secret Joseph Murphy repeats. The subconscious is not a dictator. It does not force you. It serves you. It is a fertile soil, and soil does not care what seeds you plant. Sow weeds, reap weeds. Sow roses, reap roses. Sow guidance, reap guidance. Sow fear, reap confusion. To live consciously is to become a master gardener of the subconscious. It is to select the seed, plant it deliberately, and water it daily until the harvest appears. Most people never do this. They leave the field untended, and other people plant their weeds for them. The mass mind, the evening news, the gossip of neighbors, the fear of family, the pessimism of society. And then they wonder why their life is full of thorns. But you are awake now. You are listening now. You are remembering what you already knew before birth. The presence of God lives in your subconscious mind. It knows only to say yes to the impressions you give it. It cannot argue. It cannot contradict. It simply creates according to the image. This is why a good psychic can predict what you will do, because you've already told them in your own subconscious before they've said a word. In a passive state, they simply read what you've written. The future is already there in blueprint form. And yet the blueprint can be changed. The design can be revised. The seed can be replaced. Begin with this affirmation, quietly, deeply, as you breathe. Infinite intelligence within me knows only the answer. I am guided. I am protected. I am shown the way. Repeat it, not as a plea, but as a fact. The subconscious responds to conviction, not begging. Say it until your whole body vibrates with calm. Say it until you feel a release, that quiet certainty Joseph Murphy calls the answer has been received. And then act in trust. At night, before sleep, speak directly to the subconscious. It is most receptive then. Imagine the condition you desire as vividly as you can. See it, feel it, hear it. Let it be a sensory reality in your inner world. This is not daydreaming. This is seed planting. As you drift into sleep, the conscious mind relaxes, and the subconscious accepts the impression without resistance. This is how prophetic dreams are born. This is how guidance is given. This is how creative ideas erupt seemingly out of nowhere. The subconscious is timeless, spaceless, and ageless. It can see beyond the horizon of your senses. It can rearrange events, draw people, shift circumstances, but it must be instructed. Joseph Murphy tells of the Israeli-Egyptian war, foreseen months in advance. He prayed, "Infinite intelligence guides and directs me." And he saw in a dream the insignia of the planes, the headline of the Los Angeles Times declaring war. 7 months later, the event unfolded as seen. But he and his friend canceled their trip. They did not go looking for trouble. They acted on the guidance, and they were safe. You can do the same. You can pray for guidance about a trip, a business decision, a relationship. Ask for the answer to be shown to you clearly, in a dream, a feeling, a symbol, an unexpected sign. Then go to sleep, trusting the infinite to answer. When you wake, record your dreams. Pay attention to repeated patterns. This is how the subconscious speaks. But do not stop at protection. Use the same process to receive creative ideas, solutions, and opportunities. Before sleep, affirm, "Infinite intelligence reveals to me the perfect plan for my work. Infinite intelligence opens doors for me. Infinite intelligence gives me the right people at the right time." Visualize it, feel it, drift into sleep with it, and the subconscious will begin to weave it into reality. Remember, life moves forward, never backward. You cannot regress to earlier states of consciousness except by your own permission. You cannot go back to a womb of safety, but you can appropriate more divinity every day. A boy of 7 can draw more of God's wisdom into himself than his grandfather of 100, not because of age, but because of receptivity. Life is not horizontal, it is vertical. It rises from glory to glory. This is why Joseph Murphy rejects the idea of reincarnation as popularly imagined. He says, you are an incarnation of God now. Every day you can incarnate more of divinity. Every day you can rise higher. You have had 1,000 bodies in the sense that you have shed countless states of consciousness, but you are always ascending. Life does not go backward, it climbs. And as you climb, extrasensory perception becomes not a curiosity, but a compass. Dreams become not random flickers, but messages from the infinite. Intuition becomes not a guess, but a guiding star. You become, in Murphy's words, quickened by the Holy Spirit, alert, alive, present. Practice this. As you move through your day, pause often and affirm inwardly, "Infinite intelligence goes before me, making straight, smooth, and perfect my way." Then watch as obstacles melt. Watch as coincidences appear. Watch as the still small voice whispers the next step before you even ask. This is not magic. This is law. This is the same law by which seeds grow, planets orbit, and the tide rises and falls. You are simply aligning yourself with it, consciously, joyfully. And know this, when you call for guidance, the answer is always yes. The infinite never withholds. The only variable is your own acceptance. Will you believe the dream or dismiss it? Will you act on the intuition or ignore it? Will you plant the seed or leave the field barren? You are free, always free. This is why the law of life is eminently fair. It plays no favorites. Each soul makes its own heaven or hell. Each soul decides whether to drift or to direct. What if you could go beyond merely receiving dreams and begin to shape them deliberately, to program your subconscious so it not only protects you, but propels you into the life you have imagined? In the next section, we will enter the very workshop of creation within you and see how Joseph Murphy's methods can turn intuition into destiny. The subconscious is not a silent witness. It is a builder. It is a craftsman. It is the hidden workshop of creation. And every night, every quiet moment, you step into that workshop, whether you know it or not. Joseph Murphy insists you are not a victim of chance. You are not subject to blind fate. The subconscious is always at work, shaping forms out of the impressions you allow. And the impressions are your responsibility. You may leave the door open and the world will rush in. Fear, doubt, anger, confusion, the toxic effluvia of the mass mind. Or you may close the door and enter with your own blueprints, your own images, your own decrees. The law is absolute. As within, so without. If the image is planted within, it must come forth without. If the pattern exists in mind, it will appear in form. That is why a psychic can tell you your future. They are reading the workshop of your subconscious, where the design already exists. But the design is not destiny until you accept it. Here lies the most astonishing truth. You can revise the blueprint. You can tear down the old pattern, cancel the false image, and install the vision you truly desire. This is prayer. This is affirmation. This is the deliberate use of extrasensory power. Murphy tells us the subconscious cannot argue. It cannot say no. It accepts whatever you impress upon it, and it expresses the totality of that impression with mathematical precision. Give it an image of failure, and it will create conditions to fulfill it. Give it an image of victory, and it will create circumstances to make it so. Think of the subconscious as a great projector. The film you place inside, the image, the idea, the feeling, will inevitably be cast upon the screen of your life. You cannot blame the projector for what appears. You can only change the film. How then do you place the right film, the right seed, into the subconscious? By emotion, repetition, and faith. When you affirm calmly, deeply, with conviction, the subconscious accepts. When you visualize vividly, feeling as though it is already so, the subconscious accepts. When you repeat daily, especially before sleep and upon waking, the subconscious accepts. And when it accepts, the law begins to work. Unseen at first, then gradually, then suddenly, until the invisible becomes visible. This is how prophetic dreams are born. A woman praying nightly for her child's protection sees a vision of danger, then is led to act, and the child is saved. This is how creative visions arrive. A scientist, an artist, a composer, praying for inspiration, receives in the dream the formula, the melody, the canvas. This is how guidance appears. You ask, and before you call, the answer is there. But notice, the subconscious speaks in symbols. It does not use words as the conscious mind does. It paints images, sends impressions, gives you hunches. It may show you a storm to warn of conflict. It may show you light to reveal clarity. It may bring you dreams of falling to signal a loss of control, or dreams of flying to announce liberation. Do not dismiss these. Interpret them as you would parables. They are always speaking of you. And if you wish to shape these dreams deliberately, you must enter the workshop with intention. Before sleep, impress the subconscious with what you want revealed. Say, "Infinite intelligence, show me clearly the answer to my question in a dream tonight." Visualize it. Feel the calm certainty that the answer is given. Then drift into sleep, knowing the workshop is at work. Murphy recounts case after case. Women who dreamed of car crashes and avoided them. Men who dreamed of wars and canceled their trips. Mothers who dreamed of drowning sons and saved their children. These were not random, they were answers. Yet the subconscious does not only protect, it creates destiny. The same process that shields you from harm also propels you into abundance. By impressing success, guidance, and peace upon the subconscious, you set in motion a chain of events, connections, and opportunities that the conscious mind could never arrange. Think of an inventor waking with a solution to a problem after years of struggle. Think of a poet hearing lines of verse in the silence of night. Think of a leader dreaming of a strategy before the first move is made. These are not accidents. These are the subconscious delivering the finished creation from its workshop. And here is where extrasensory perception becomes practical. You can direct it. You can use it consciously to receive answers, to foresee danger, to uncover opportunity. You can train your subconscious to be a clear channel of the infinite rather than a passive screen for the fears of others. Begin with the simplest exercise. Every night before sleep, affirm protection and guidance. Say, "Infinite intelligence within me guides me clearly. I am shown the way in dreams, in intuition, in perfect timing. My subconscious reveals only truth, only guidance, only the way of life." Then imagine yourself surrounded by light, calm, secure, protected. Drift into sleep with this image. In time, you will notice that your dreams begin to change. They will become clearer, more symbolic, more direct. You will wake with impressions, ideas, warnings, and solutions. Keep a journal. Record them. Over time, you will see the pattern. The subconscious is speaking. And as you record, as you act upon the guidance, the voice grows louder. The channel becomes clearer. The still, small voice, once faint, becomes the thunder that moves you with certainty. This is not superstition. This is not fantasy. This is law. The same law by which a seed becomes a tree, by which night becomes day, by which every cause creates its effect. Extrasensory perception is simply the subconscious revealing causes before they become effects, giving you the power to change the seed before the harvest comes. Do not underestimate this. Entire wars have been foreseen this way, entire tragedies averted, entire destinies redirected. And your life, no matter how small or great you imagine it, is no exception. The same law governs all. The same infinite intelligence answers all. The only question is, will you listen? Will you plant deliberately? Will you enter the workshop each night with intention? If your subconscious is a workshop of creation, then what masterpiece is waiting to be born through you? In the final section, we will ascend to the climax of this journey, where the power of extrasensory perception merges with the higher truth of your divine identity, and you discover the revelation that changes everything. All along this journey, one truth has been whispering through every dream, every vision, every subtle intuition. You are more than you think you are. Extrasensory perception, prophetic dreams, divine guidance, these are not supernatural tricks. They are glimpses of your real nature. They are the cracks in the wall of limitation through which the light of your divine identity shines. Joseph Murphy's voice rises through time. You are an incarnation of God now. Not someday, not after death, not in a distant heaven, now. This is the grand revelation hidden in parables, in symbols, in dreams. The presence of God is not outside you. It is the life of your subconscious, the breath within your breath, the still small voice that never leaves you. Every miracle, every vision, every rescue from danger is but the infinite reminding you of itself, reminding you that you are not a creature crawling in dust, but a creator clothed in flesh. Look at your own life through this lens. How many times have you been spared without explanation? How many times have you just known what was coming? How many times has a dream, a hunch, a sudden inner warning saved you from disaster or pointed you to opportunity? Were those coincidences, or were they the infinite speaking through your own subconscious? The truth is this: you have never been alone, not once. Even in the darkest nights, when you thought no one heard your prayers, the infinite was guiding you, protecting you, waiting for you to recognize the partnership. Extrasensory perception is not about fortune-telling. It is about communion. It is about union with the greater self, the divine presence that knows the end from the beginning and the path from where you stand. It is about reclaiming your rightful authority as the architect of your destiny. And so the question is no longer, does this power exist? You know it does. The question is, will you claim it consciously? Imagine standing on the shore of an infinite sea. Most people stand with their toes barely in the water, watching the waves and saying, perhaps one day I will swim. Some never even dare approach. But you are being called to dive in, to claim the sea as your element, to know, as Joseph Murphy knew, that you are not a fragment but a whole, not a seeker but a creator, not a victim of fate but a channel of infinite intelligence. And what happens when you claim it? You become fearless. Not reckless, but fearless. You move through life with calm certainty because you know that every answer is already within, that every step is guided, that no harm can touch you while you live from the divine center. You also become creative. Ideas flow, solutions appear, doors open. You find yourself in the right place at the right time with the right people, not because of luck, but because infinite intelligence has orchestrated it through your subconscious impressions. And most of all, you become free. Free from the manipulation of the mass mind. Free from fear of the future. Free from the chains of superstition. You live not as a pawn on the chessboard of life, but as one who moves with the knowing of the master. But do not mistake freedom for passivity. Freedom requires responsibility. You must plant your own seeds. You must choose your own images. You must claim your own authority. No one else can do this for you. Not your relatives, not society, not even a teacher. As Murphy says, always make your own decisions. Always plant your own garden. So tonight, when you close your eyes, do not drift into unconsciousness as the world does. Enter the workshop of your subconscious deliberately. Speak to it as a trusted friend. Infinite intelligence within me, guide me clearly. Reveal to me what I must know. Speak to me in dreams and symbols. Protect me, direct me, and make straight my way. Then see yourself walking in light. Feel the calm certainty of protection. Fall asleep with that image. And tomorrow, record your dreams. Pay attention to the impressions, act upon the guidance. This is the path of awakening. And if you will persevere, if you will practice for 21 days, if you will plant the seeds of faith and listen to the still small voice, you will find yourself living in a new world. The outer world will mirror the inner. More peace, more guidance, more protection, more abundance. And one day, perhaps sooner than you think, you will look back and realize, I did not merely learn to use extrasensory perception. I discovered who I truly am, a channel of infinite intelligence, a bearer of divine light, an incarnation of God now. This is the great promise that has been waiting at the end of this journey. Not that you might become psychic, but that you might awaken to your divine self. Not that you might predict the future, but that you might shape it. Not that you might escape the world, but that you might live in it with power, with peace, and with purpose. So let this be your resolution. Never again dismiss the whispers of your soul. Never again live passively in the debris of the mass mind. Never again bow to fear. From this moment forward, walk as who you truly are, a conscious creator, guided by infinite intelligence, clothed in divine authority. And if this message has stirred something deep within you, if you feel the call to go further, to rise higher, to live daily in this truth, then I invite you to join us as a channel member. There you will receive early access to new teachings, deeper journeys, and the companionship of others walking this same luminous path. The choice is before you. The seed is in your hand. The infinite is waiting, and the still small voice is whispering now. Claim your divine inheritance. You are more than you think. You are the presence of God in action. Awaken, beloved soul, and step into the light of your own infinite being. For the dream of God is dreaming you, and the time has come to dream it awake.